why we should use a data warehouse as marketeers. It's a very simple answer. It's because we're always chasing this bright and shiny diamond that us as marketeers is always interested in. But what is it? What is this bright and shiny diamond that we are always interested in? Predictive analytics and forecasting. Everybody wants it. I know you want it too. Hell, I've always been wanting it. And I'm still wanting it in a lot of cases where we don't have it. So, but in order to get there, it's not a matter of aligning all your Excel files or all of your sources together and poof, we can apply machine learning, because that's in the end what predictive analytics and forecasting is. No, in order to get there to this shiny diamond where we have all these benefits from predictive analytics and forecasting of being much more precise in our strategies for the upcoming years, etc., it is about actually getting a better workflow around data. And there's 3 steps that we have to go through that all have an endpoint, measurable, before we can get started with predictive analytics and forecasting. And it all starts with step 1, centralizing our data management. We need to have one central single source of truth. And this will be a data warehouse like Google BigQuery. We need all of our data to come in there, and we need all of that data to be clean. We need the data integrity to be similar across the sources. We need to have some business processes in place. We need to make some decisions on how we're going to manage the data, how we're going to name certain columns and certain things. And all of this will be done. We'll be doing actually during this course, and we'll be talking about it also a lot more. Because what can we then do when we have that? Well, the first step, now that we have our data in one place, which is super nice, but okay, then what? Let's improve our current analysis and reporting processes so that we can do something that I like to call intelligent automation. It is automating the boring work. And the boring work is standardizing or is the repetitive work that we're doing every time we need to create a report, every time we need to go and fetch the same data sources, every time we need to clean the same data sources, and every single time we need to visualize it before we can do actual reports on it. This is 100% something that we can automate. I should say this is something we can automate 100%, so that we can immediately start with actually analyzing it. And as a matter of fact, we could even standardize and automate how specific reports are coming together. We could build some data dashboards that have specific views, but we can't do that if we don't have a centralized place for our data. That's why step 1 is important before moving to step 2. We can start that very simple, step 1, by doing like 1 or 2 sources, like Google Ads and maybe Google Analytics, and maybe some Search Console data, and then work our way up to number 3, which is more an outcome of having number 1 done, doing number 2, and it leads to better decision making. It leads to more difficult questions that we can answer. It leads to allowing us to have a cleaner view of where we are spending our budgets, where we should be spending our budgets. And it can have a direct impact already on the overall marketing strategy. And once you are there, then you can use those, let's say, more advanced insights and those advanced questions to start opening the door for predictive analytics and forecasting. And with that, I conclude this chapter. And with that, I would like to conclude this part of why, And that is why you want a data warehouse. Not for the sake of having a data warehouse, but because you can improve your analysis and reporting, which will lead to better decision making and ultimately opens the door for predictive analytics and forecasting. See you in the next part of this chapter.